Okay, I wanted to talk to you about not really listening to the body. So one of the things that really radically has changed for me doing Kundalini Activation is really getting more in touch with my body. So I would say before I did Kundalini Activation, I was very much in my head. Almost kind of felt a little bit trapped in my head. And I wasn't really listening to what my body was saying. And I wasn't really that in touch with how I felt either. And during the process of doing Kundalini Activation, I don't know when it started to change. So I've been doing Kundalini Activation now for somewhere between 1.5 years and 2 years. And I would say maybe, I don't know, within the first 6 to 8 months, maybe, something like that, a real shift started to happen where I really started to listen to what it needed. But I should say, like, maybe explain a bit about how I was before. So I was really putting a lot of effort. I was like really trying to kind of get somewhere with my career and what I was doing, and I felt like I was pushing something up a mountain most of the time. And I had kind of stopped connecting to how I felt, and I was just kind of like, I was a bit like a machine. It's just like a machine kind of trying to do something over and over and over again. But the more I did it, the more exhausted I got, to the point where I got really burnt out, and my body eventually was just like, I cannot do one more thing. That's kind of at the point where I found Kundalini. And at that point, I really started to tune in to the body more. So obviously, one thing that I didn't realise that I think was due to my burnout was this sense of repressed grief that I had, that I didn't know was there. And so that started to arise. So that in itself was kind of like a relief, because I was then just getting more in touch with how I felt again, rather than just ignoring myself. But also getting in touch with my body was kind of getting in touch with how I felt. And I really started to tune in to really like sensations in my body. So for example, with the grief, sometimes I'd feel this physical pain in my heart, and when that came up, I would literally just sit and be with it, because I was doing everything else I was doing was just ignoring that, really ignoring how I was feeling and what was really happening. So there was that aspect, but there was also this sense that before, I think I was doing things that I thought I should do. So there was this feeling of like, and maybe there was also a sense of overworking, where I was distracting myself by working too much. And suddenly I started to listen more to what it was that I actually wanted to do. And that kind of got me, again, just like listening to the natural cycles of what my body was saying. So if my body was getting really tired, then I would listen to that rather than just distracting myself in all the usual ways that I would distract myself. I think from time to time these things still come up now, and again it's like I have to remind myself to listen, because this habit of overworking, that's the main one. This like habit of overworking is to distract myself. It has been quite a long-lasting, it's been something I've been doing for a long time, so I feel like it's going to probably take a while to completely unwind. But generally I feel so much better for listening to the body and not just going along with what I should do. So if there's a day where like I want to get some videos done, like today or something, and maybe there's one day out of the week where I'm like, I just don't want to do it, I want to do something else instead, then I'm just good. I go towards what I want to do rather than what I feel I should do. And that is kind of like really changing everything, because then you start to really start to tune into your body in a more attuned way. It's kind of like, in a way it's like, I think most of the time what we're doing is we are using everything as a distraction, whether it be work, watching the television, hobbies, even positive things that we would consider positive, like a hobby. Sometimes even that can just be a distraction from just being with yourself. So yeah, that's what I want to say, is that if you wanted to come and try out some Kundalini activation, because you feel maybe like you're distracting yourself and you want to get more in touch with your body, more in touch with your feelings, more in touch with who you want and who you are, then I do these Kundalini activation sessions in Romford and in Hackney. So one on the 29th of June in Hackney at 11 o'clock, and every Saturday in Romford at 12 o'clock till 2, and some Fridays in Romford at 8 till 10. I will leave a link in the description. See you later.